Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shobo. Today is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, and we are, of course, going to be starting a brand new game today called Terra Invicta. This is a strategy game where you take control of a secret society, or not so secret society, depending on how you play things. And, yeah, you have to, do some stuff while aliens are, like, coming to invade the planet. It's wonderful. It has consumed all of my time, since I bought it several days ago. I bought it, I think, on, like, a Thursday night. And I already have more than 50 hours in this game, and I haven't completed a playthrough yet. I have not completed a playthrough. I have 72 hours of this game already. Since, like, when was this? The 4th. Since the 4th. So it's been a week. 72 hours playing of, like, game being up and alive in a week. I enjoy this game. So when deciding what I should stream next, this was definitely on that list of games. And you know what? We're playing this. I put up a relatively short vote period for which faction to play as, and there was a tie between the Resistance and the Initiative of the few votes that I ended up getting on my poll. So I decided, you know what? I've played the Resistance on my own time. Let's go ahead and let's play as the Initiative. Now I wanna just stress that I have, like, played the beginning of the game 4 or 5 times now. I forget exactly how many times. I have not gotten really into the mid game yet. I have basically just played through the 2020s for the most part in the saves that I've played thus far. I do know what happens in the 2030s. I know what to prepare for. I have a general plan for technologies. In fact, general plan is from a Reddit guide, and I've got, like, pictures of technologies and priorities to follow from the 10-step guide on Reddit. So thank you to that person who has made the 10-step guide to defeating the aliens on the Reddit. There is a lot to learn about this game, and there is a lot to cover as we get into it. The main thing getting into it, though, is that we're gonna have to have a plan. So the plan, I think that should apply to pretty much every single faction in the entire game, maybe barring the servants, is get to space as quickly as possible. Get a base on Luna to help reduce the total amount of boost that you need to get to Mars, and colonize Mars. Colonize the heck out of Mars. Get something on Ceres in the asteroid belt, and get Mercury. I haven't played a game yet that got to Mercury. I'm sort of getting there. My most recent playthrough is as the Project Exodus, but yeah, we're gonna start a new game as Initiative today. We have 8 different factions. One of those is the aliens. As far as I'm aware, the game does not cheat. As far as I'm aware, the game doesn't cheat. So the aliens have mechanics that they must follow, and you can use the game mechanics against them, and you can use the game mechanics against the other factions. Just keep all of that in mind. We are going to be the Initiative. Exploit the arrival to gain power. Money, power, all that good stuff. We are going to play on normal. We are going to play on normal because, yeah, harder difficulties are harder. And we're going to start. Now, we may need to restart a couple of times because the beginning of the game, we want to make sure that we have as many advantages as possible here at the start. And a lot of stuff gets randomized. So as we get into this, and as I like really get to explaining the game, and I do hope that our that the quality of the stream is okay, because I know this game can be very CPU demanding. I did limit the frame rate to 60 as far as I can tell. I'm pretty sure I did what I needed to limit to 60 in the control panel. Of course, loading uses a ton of system resources, so I'm expecting some hitches during loading. This is very much like Factorio. I play a lot of Factorio, by the way. That's my main game that I stream, is Factorio, modded, heavily modded. So the complexity of this game did not bother me at all. It's just trying to keep track of it all at the same time. That's the issue here.
We remember the day the stars answered. The day we learned we were not alone.
We are not alone.
As a familiar sun rose on an unfamiliar universe, some of us saw wondrous possibility, and others existential danger. The astronomers had insisted that the bright streak in the sky was no natural phenomenon. Most of us didn't really believe them until it burned through our atmosphere and crashed in a remote region, leaving only wreckage and uncertainty. In our ignorance, we fractured, taking refuge in our most primal emotions. Each of us saw what we wanted to see. Survival of the fittest has always been the game. Whether you're beating your enemy with a rock or a lawsuit, you have to be vicious to be the top dog. Because when you've worked for everything, and you've fought for all you have, nothing will satisfy you, except everything.
Mm-hmm. We want it all. We want it all. Now, I am noticing the stream is seemingly hitching a little bit. Let's see if I can figure that out. Or maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know. The game is early access. There's gonna be some performance things with it. A UFO has landed in Guatemala City, Guatemala in this playthrough. We'll see if we stick with this one, because
Welcome, boss.
Yeah, welcome.
The council has appointed you leader of our organization.
Yes, we are the leader.
Soren van Beek, your chief operating officer.
Yes. We recommend a counselor to investigate stuff. We start the game with 2 counselors. This is the very first thing that could make or break the start here. So, are these good counselors? That is the question. Have we spawned with good counselors? I see Persuasion 7. Please tell me you have Control Nation. You don't have the public campaign. Yet you don't have public campaigning on Persuasion 7 as a diplomat. That hurts a little. Our other guy, now it's nice that we get US and China. Our other guy is connected, is a criminal, is a kingpin. I actually really like the kingpin archetype, because they come with some really good stuff. Unfortunately, neither of these counselors has the ability to increase the popularity of my faction, which sorta sucks. It is nice having 2 that have the Control Nation. This guy is nice because of Hostile Takeover in particular. Hostile Takeover is the main great part of having a kingpin, and if you can get an org, one of these guys, organizations, that can give the ability to inspect, then that would be great. So being able to words, being able to words would be great. What is the name of that mission type? I've completely forgotten the name of the mission, but it's the ability to investigate other counselors. Being able to use the Kingpin to investigate other counselors would be great, because then this one counselor could investigate, detain, and hostile takeover, as well as assassinate. So you get like the total package of completely overpowered mechanics all in one, but it by default, without an organization to give him the ability to investigate other counselors, it's not that great. But having Steel Project is nice. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Sabotage Project. I like the archetype for Kingpin. Having Criminal means that you get access to different types of organizations that can be very powerful. Having Wealthy is nice. We're making money because of that. He makes 6.3 every month by himself. By the way, I have a setting enabled that sets all of these values up here to be by month. Normally it's by day. I don't know why it's by day when most stuff is calculated by month, but whatever. I should explain the UI. This is our first time playing this game. Up here at the top of the screen, we have our resources. We start with money, our green, somewhat dollar-ish sign. That is our cash. Spend cash on things like public campaigns. Some organizations cost money that buff your counselors. You have influence, which will directly influence your ability to buy additional counselors at the beginning of the game, as well as your ability to perform actions like controlling nations. You have operations, which generally speaking is all the fighty stuff. All the fighty stuff is where you spend your operations. In particular, you also spend ops on investigating the aliens. So we need to make sure that we are able to have an income on ops. You don't start the game with income of operations. You have to get this through organizations or through a very beginning of the game decision that you can make. There is an option that will give you some baseline operations. I don't usually take that one though, because it's fairly easy to get ops, such as through this org. This org right here, this one gives one operation per month, just by having it, just by having that operation. This one here gives 2 operations, and it costs like 25 money per month. This is actually a pretty decent organization because it gives 6 stats to a counselor. Unfortunately, you need someone from India or have India in order to use this organization. And if you lose India or the counselor from India, you can't use this org anymore. So you have to be pretty careful about organizations that are tied to nations. This counselor could use this Hong Kong triad because this counselor is from China. So we have the ability to grab this. He's also a criminal. So this would give 4 stats and a ton of income and influence and operations. This is a really, really good organization to get if I can get it. If I can get 120 influence and 100 money and 10 operations to be able to afford such a thing. That would be really nice to have. I'm hesitant about this start though. I need to look at the available options for additional counselors. I need someone that can public campaign with decent persuasion at bare minimum. I see that there is this diplomat here that has persuasion 6 that does not have. So diplomats apparently do not start with public campaigning. I doubt. Oh, hey, this spy has public campaigning, but that's a pretty low. That's a pretty low persuasion. He has quick learner, which is great as a trait. Every counselor has traits. The traits that reduce the experience cost to level up the counselors are fantastic. So hello, welcome. I'm just now like seeing chat. Because like a whole bunch of I have a whole bunch of other windows open. This is one of those games where you sort of want to have reference material off to the side. This is a really good counselor overall. That's some pretty good traits. +1 espionage when detected by other counselors. +1 investigation when detecting other counselors. +2 espionage when being detected. So he gets +3 to espionage when being detected by other counselors, or she I guess, and has government, and just comes with +2 espionage. Apparent loyalty is 2, -1 persuasion and administration, which is not nice, and can't inspire. Streetwise, another +1 espionage from being detected by other counselors. Wow. How about the activists? That's the other one I was looking at, because activists get public campaign as well. This one is... This one is I like having transparent because of you'll always know their loyalty. This game has an interesting mechanic involving loyalty here. It seems rather static, only really changed by events or certain actions that you take. But otherwise it seems pretty static. The loyalty determines how easy or difficult it is for an enemy counselor to turn your counselor. So the lower the loyalty of the counselor is to your cause, the easier it is for them to turn traitor and report everything about your faction to another faction. So you want to have someone with the inspire ability that will raise loyalty, but you don't know the actual loyalty unless you investigate your own counselors. So you need someone with the ability to investigate counselors, and you need someone with inspire. Ideally 2 with inspire and 2 with investigate, so that you can investigate the investigator and inspire the inspirer, and get all of your counselors up to 25, so it's as difficult as possible for the AI to turn your counselors. That's ideal, but we can only take what we can get here at the start, or restart the game to re-roll the available counselors, which I am very much considering, because we have not ended up with a great selection of public campaigners. I would take the spy to have the public campaign. To have Crackdown, Purge, and Coup d'etat would be fantastic. Should we go with it? Shall we just attempt this? If it doesn't end up all that well, we can just restart, and it will be fine. And I have the influence to be able to purchase this one right now. Do it. Do eat. Sure. We'll go with it for now. We'll see how we do. We have to determine which major nation we want to get. So, in this game, you are an organization, secret organization, that can take control of nations. And you can fight other organizations for control of nations. Now, ideally, to get all of the resources of the nations, you're going to want to have a really big one. Ideally, you want to have a really big nation, like the United States. But there are a few options. Every major nation has some sort of an issue associated with it, uh, and of course, the bigger the nation, the harder it is to get in there and take control over their control points. If I were to attempt to control nation on the United States right now, we start with 0% success chance. And if I throw influence at it, which, I should probably move myself over to the other side. Have I locked? Yes, I have locked. Let me unlock and let me move me over to this other side because I think that's going to be a little bit easier. I think that's going to be a little bit easier. It'll be a little awkward with me looking like off to the side of the screen for chat and such, but you know what? It's fine. We don't need to see the news. We don't need to see the news on the left side of the screen, but we do want to see the stats of the counselors that I'm looking at. That is rather important information, and to be able to see the sliders here. So we can't just go after the United States. There are other options. There is the European Union. The European Union is considered to be a federation of various independent countries. Of course, just how it is right now. There is also a bit of a conflict between Russia and Ukraine at the start of the game. This game depicts the world as it exists today, current day, or as of October 1st of this year. So we start from here and we go, and random stuff will happen along the way, and things will change. So the European Union is extremely strong. The issue is that you have to unify the European Union into a single nation. If you can get France, which is much easier, France in the game leads the European Union, we can throw 32 influence at this and very likely succeed at getting a control point in France. And we can gain control in other European Union nations. We could gain control of the United Kingdom and add it to the European Union, and then eventually merge it. The issue is that diplomacy takes time. It takes a very, very long time to peacefully integrate nations into a single federation of the European Union. When France merges with any other nation in the European Union, the name of the nation changes to European Union, and members of that federation can continue to get integrated. The problem is that it's a lot of individual control points to take over. It takes a very long time, and even though the finished nation is very powerful, by the time you get there, you probably would have been better off getting a different nation to start with. Just going to throw that out there. It's a similar situation with Russia. Russia is easy to get into, ish, but it's not the strongest GDP in the world. It's not a great GDP to start with. The amount of research that you get is quite low. They start with a lot of academy. Okay, they're starting with a lot of public opinion towards the academy in Russia. Interesting. The academy starts with a lot of public opinion pretty much everywhere, but there's going to be an event that sort of wipes a lot of that out. So the thing about all of this is that you have the ability as the European Union to integrate Russia. There is the ability to integrate Russia as the European Union, just as there is an ability for Russia as the Eurasian Union to integrate the European Union into one giant nation. Can you create new federation factions? Ish. In this game, you cannot create claims on a whim. You can only get specific claims provided by technologies of the claims that don't exist at the beginning of the game. Now, if there is a claim, you can federate, but you can't integrate unless the claim is on a capital. So, for example, India possesses claims from Pakistan and Bangladesh. Because of this, if you have control over India and Bangladesh, or India and Pakistan, you're able to federate those two nations, but you can't integrate them because the regions are not the capitals. Only through a later technology, Greater India is the engineering project that you have to unlock from a technology later on. Only at that point do you get claims on capitals of neighboring regions, and then you can integrate peacefully. So, yeah, it's definitely a thing. So India is a valid starting play. India is extremely powerful for the start of the game. It's relatively easy to get control of India. It has a control point called religion that gives you a bonus to your public opinion every time the nation gets an investment point, 2 investment points really, added to unity. So every time a unity tick happens, your faction gains popularity in India if you have this religion control point. And that applies to any nation with a religion control point. It actually makes getting and holding on to India extremely easy. It is, once you have this third point in India, you will pretty much never lose control of India for the entire game, with few exceptions, especially if you are the servants, which is a very, very easy game to begin with. As the servants, I would absolutely beeline India, because you will never get extracted from India because of this religion control point. The thing about India, though, it has very high pop. It has the ability to grow very, very large. So large, in fact, that it actually will gain a control point very early on in the game. Very, very early, relatively early. By 2030, you're very likely to have a third control point, which is at 15 billion GDP. Yeah, we're talking about increasing the GDP of this nation by 50%. And it's absolutely doable. So India is a good option. The United States is an option if you can get into it. The European Union, I've sort of gone over the issues with the European Union. It is very strong when you unify it, but it takes a very long time to unify. The United States has issues with cohesion and inequality at the start, as well as its democracy score being a flawed democracy at 7.85. Gee, I wonder how that could have happened. So you have to spend a while investing in the United States to fix the problems. But once the problems are fixed, it doesn't really have that much potential for growth beyond where it's currently at, although where it's at is really nice. It is the top. It has the highest miltech of any nation in the entire game, and is the most suitable nation for fighting the aliens. It is the most suitable for investing into military to fight the aliens. China is the hardest to control because it is so big, because it has such a high population and at such a high GDP. China, if you can get it, can very easily surpass the United States in overall research output, technology, military, the whole 9 yards, if you can solve the government problem if you can get this pumped towards 10, if you can get your unrest to 0, if you can get your cohesion down to 5, and if you can sort the inequality to adequate levels, if you can do all those things and control the nation, it's extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. You will have a lot of research if you get this nation. A lot of research. And it comes with monthly boost, and it comes with a couple of mission control points. It's not worth it. Frankly, it's not worth it. It is only worth it to prevent other factions from getting it. It simply takes too long. It takes way too long to do all of these things. So, given the option between, and of course I mentioned a lot of the good parts about India, the like not so good part is that it is among the weakest of the starting quote-unquote superpowers. It's much higher GDP than Russia, but it's still only $10 trillion of GDP versus, the 26 of China and the 22 of the US. The US has double the GDP of India, but India can grow beyond the United States GDP over time, and that's the key thing. The alien invasion is now. That the alien invasion has begun, technically. The moment that UFO crash landed, there is now an alien counselor doing stuff on the globe. So I know this has taken like half an hour and we haven't done anything yet, but it's a very important decision. What nation do we control? What is the plan for the nations going forward? I do want to mention that 100% of the time, I will always want to have Kazakhstan. 100% of the time, every single playthrough should always take Kazakhstan. Why? Because it starts with 2.5 monthly boost. 2.5 monthly boost. We always want to have Kazakhstan. If we're not getting Russia, we want to remove Kazakhstan from the Eurasian Union so that we can get all 2.5 monthly boost from this nation. And we want to invest in more, ideally. Now, an interesting thing about boost and mission control. These are, as far as I'm aware, static values. I know there's this thing that says minus 2.2 in the last 30 days. I don't know why it says minus 2.2 in the last 30 days. I guess that's the amount that's going to the Union, to Russia, or something along those lines. But, yeah, a nation's boost capacity, of course, the US has 2.3, is something that you invest into that's like a permanent investment. The nation will always have this boost associated with it, as well as mission control. It will always have the mission control associated with it. Oh yeah, I should have. Is it possible to recruit an alien counselor to your human faction? Well, not normally, but I haven't played the servants. The servants are sort of like allied with the aliens, and their whole thing is that they want the aliens to succeed, and that's why the servants campaign is much easier. It is complete and utter easy mode, because you're just trying to make sure that the aliens succeed in their mission. Protectorate, sort of along the same lines. They are okay with the aliens being here. They just don't want you the whole of the humanity to be eradicated. They're like, okay, we'll let you have your like orbitals that can destroy all of humanity so that we stay in line. We'll serve in your armies. Yeah, that's fine. Just as long as we can continue to exist, we're good. That's the protectorate. Honestly, the wisest decision, frankly. Um, far easier to guarantee that you can survive, and then rogue elements will eventually, get rid of that situation later on down the line. But anyway, stuff and things. I want the U.S. I want a U.S. and Kazakhstan play here. Now, in order to do that, we get to choose between going for Canada or going for Mexico. It will be easier to get into Canada. 68% chance. Oh boy. Because the more control points that you have in a neighboring nation or nations, the easier it is to get into the United States, or the more realistically, the easier it is to increase your popular support, which also then increases your ability to control the nation. So if we're trying to get into the United States, which I definitely want, because I want the technology and I want the boost of the United States and I want its mission control, I want all of its things. I want all of its things plus Kazakhstan and all of its things. Having, close to 5 boosts a month would be fantastic at the very beginning of the game. I would very much like that. So we're going to attempt to do just that thing. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw all of my influence at this, which means I cannot get another counselor now. And it's only a 68% chance. There is a chance that it will fail and I'll have lost the 32 influence. This is the very first key thing. I don't exactly know when the rolls happen, so I would imagine that they're done between turns, so this might just always fail, even if I reload the save. But you know what? We're going to try it. If we fail, we'll reload, and we'll see if we keep failing over and over and over again. We will make this determination. We will find out for ourselves when the rolls happen. Okay. Also, start of the game. Your counselors take actions every week, but certain actions are only half as effective as later in the game, because later in the game, after the first 6 months or so, around February of 2023, the game will switch to counselor turns happening every 2 weeks rather than every week. And you'll notice the change immediately in things like decrease unrest. It'll go from 0.25 reduction to unrest to 0.5 reduction in unrest. It's as if they've done the action twice, which means that in the early game, the focus is on control nation, more so the increasing your popularity in a faction, because it's only going to be half as effective as later on, etc., etc. You'll still want to do the things because you're still going to get experience for doing the actions. You're going to get a whole bunch of experience on the counselors for doing the actions. But yeah, just keep in mind that it favors the early game. When it's every week, will favor control nation. Now, for the kingpin, what do I want you to do? Do I want to just give you a 10% chance or 36% chance to take 2 control points? Or do I want to... Oh, you can't investigate the crash site. That sucks. And I need the other one controlling nation, so we're not going to start with investigating the crash site this time, I guess. Yeah, I guess pretty much the only thing you can do right now is attempt this control nation and spend all of my influence on that.
Control.
All right, well, let's confirm assignments and play the game. No, we shouldn't play the game. I forgot completely. We need to invest in We Are Not Alone and get rid of this audience research. I don't need that. I don't need that. We ended up putting 1 point into it. I want We Are Not Alone. So technologies. We can choose to invest however we wish. The thing about that, though, is that if you lead on a technology, there are a couple of things that happen. For the global technologies researches, if you are the tech leader, you get to pick the next tech. If the whichever nation invests the most into a technology is the one that gets to pick the next technology. And the more proportional research that you put into a technology, the faster you will get access to any engineering projects, council engineering projects that those technologies unlock as the very key thing. So we want to put into We Are Not Alone so that we can pick our next tech. On this one, we do not have enough research and will not have enough research to get all three until later. I have every intention on being able to have control over all three, but for now, we're going to take the loss in overall research and focus all into We Are Not Alone. Because right now, we have 35.1 research. You get more research. You get more research for having extra pips in the distribution. The more distributed pips you have, the more total research you have available to you. But it slows this down. It slows this one down. So we're just going to not do this. I want to note that we're running on version 32, I think is the version right now. I think that's the version. Where's the patch notes? Yeah, 3.23. That's the thing. 3.23. 0.3.23. And in this version, there's a stupid bug. There's a stupid bug with the pips on the research screen. It's right click to increase and left click to decrease. I mean, there's some sort of logic to that, but it's absolutely reversed from what it should be. Left click is primary action and is associated with increase. So if I left click, I should increase this value with left click, not right click. If I left click, it decreases. And so every single time I go in here to try to increase my priority, I always left click and it goes down. It cycles down. Also, these buttons up here, the plus and minus, those are in the reverse positions from where they should be. We should not have increase speed on the left and decrease speed on the right. That's reversed. That's not what it should be. Anyway, at time, please advance. At maximum speed. Oh, wow, we actually got this event early. Okay, we got this in the first week. It is not guaranteed to get this in the first week. I absolutely want that 50 influence. I absolutely would like to have that 50 influence. All nations have gained 1 cohesion, which is great. We have obtained our control point in Canada. Thank God! The run is valid.
Our supporters are in place.
Hey, we got both of them! We actually hit on a 43%. It adjusted, I think, after the cohesion gain, but yeah, that was a thing. That was glorious. A glorious first turn. So now we have enough influence to look at recruiting this spy that I was looking at. It's a good thing I wasn't looking at any of the others, because I would have just barely not been able to afford any of them. Are any of these good? Like, would I want any of these? I'm looking for a very specific, that one. I'm looking for a very specific trait called Striver. Striver or Quick Learner. Striver means that your counselors that specific counselor can level up every 14 experience points as opposed to every 20. Quick learner means every 16 experience versus every 20. Do you get how over the course of the game that this is a huge deal? This is a huge deal over the course of the game. Unfortunately, he's a diplomat, so it's like, no. But yeah, Striver, Quick Learner is always nice. Always nice to have. But yeah, this one is the one. Thank you for your cooperation. You need more persuasion, though. You need some persuasion, though. That would be ideal. In fact, they all need persuasion. But what they really need is admin. What they really need is some more administration. That would be ideal. Most ideal. I want organizations that give me additional administration so that I can get additional organizations to give them a primary stat. And we want to focus on persuasion, admin, and command, because this limit determines how many nations we can control, how many control points we can control. So just by taking those two in Canada, now we have 24 control points. You've been pondering this potential purchase? It's a time sink. I can tell you that much for certain. This is very much a time sink. I don't want to spend the stuff on the 42.
Ready to go.
Where do you need me?
Standing by.
What's the op?
Okay, you're a guy. You have a guy voice. Alright, so this is a public campaigner. %20 chance, because of the control points in neighbors, is not very good. I'd have to spend an immense amount of money. An immense amount of money in order for any chance of success. Do I want to increase my popularity in Canada, or do I want to try to increase my popularity in Mexico? I think the Mexico deal is the play here, but ultimately I'm going to have to just not Canada. Once I have the US, I'm going to have to abandon Canada because of the control point problem. I want Kazakhstan. I want to coup Kazakhstan. And the reason for that is that if you can pull off a coup in this nation, it removes them from their federation immediately. So you won't have to wait a year to peacefully remove them from the Federation. You can coup the nation even if you have control over it. Which is great. Which is great. However, the control of the nation will go to, preferentially, nations that have increased unrest in said nation. So, do
Standing
you
by
have...
for orders.
You have
Your
4
orders?
command, so yes, you
Ready
have the
for my
ability to
mission.
increase unrest, and you have the ability to coup, which is great. Coup attempts is based off of command, so is increase unrest, so someone's gonna need to have command. Someone's gonna need some command. I'm gonna give you 8 of my precious ops. Just to, like, have that increase unrest tick, to have that, like, support from my faction towards unrest in Kazakhstan, so that when I eventually coup this nation,
The
there
people
is going to be
demand
a greater
justice.
chance that the control
Standing
points will
by
just
for orders.
become mine. And it might have a bit of popularity in there towards that effect as well, so I should probably increase my popularity. Oh, you have Investigate Counselor. That's nice. I'm going to have you investigate the
We'll see
UFO,
what
though.
we can find.
What's the op?
And you are going to run the Control Nation with the remainder of my influence that I can throw at it on Canada.
Putting our people in place.
So I have full control of Canada. Oh boy, this is set to exploit. Yeah, we do not want... I know that our faction is the exploitation faction, but we don't actually want to run spoils. That'll just lose us the game. We don't want spoils. Not at all, and we don't want nukes either. That sounds like a terrible idea. We want economic investment. A point in welfare to offset the economic investment. So, okay. Conversation time. Investments in nations. Every month, the various click chirps are making the audio spike. The audio spike. I mean, those are pretty loud. I'm sure there's audio balance issues with the game, but we'll turn like the UI volume down.
Prepping for mission.
So how's... Is that better? Alright, should be better. Okay. So, economy. When you invest in the economy, every point of monthly investment points, you raise the GDP, the per capita GDP, by $10 every investment point into this. It also increases inequality by a value of 0.0003 for each point you invest into the economy. For each point you invest in welfare, you reduce inequality by 0.005. So a point in welfare is worth many, many points of economy in terms of the effect on inequality on the nation. And we want to make sure that your inequality score is low-ish. You don't need 0, but the lower-ish, the better for like your research output, etc. Same with knowledge. We want to invest in knowledge so that we increase our science output. Our science output is a function of the democratic score as well as the education score and unrest score and all that good stuff. Everything plays into your overall science output. This also, investing in knowledge increases your government rating by 0.005 per 2 points invested in knowledge. Now I'll note that GDP, overall GDP, that's what determines the number of monthly investment points you have. So by throwing points into economy, raising your GDP, you get more points that you can invest into the economy to get more points for more investment, for more points, for more investment in the GDP. And that's the general growth mechanic. This takes forever. This takes a very long time. Now, we are a cohesion of 6.1. We do not need more cohesion, so we do not need to invest in unity. Investing in unity will actually decrease your government score by 0.001, which, that's a fifth of the gain you get from knowledge. So just as long as you have knowledge investment, you can run the unity investment and not worry about your government score going down. You want to make sure that your cohesion is as close to 5 as possible, and ideally you want it to rest at 5. Now, as it turns out, Canada will rest at 5, which is great. And at 5, you get the biggest bonus to research. So that's glorious. The rest of this funding determines this stat here. That is the money that you get from the nation every month, distributed to the owners of the control points. This is as opposed to spoils. Spoils will give you a bunch of cash. It will decrease the government score by 0.01. It will increase the amount of inequality by 0.0035 per point. And it will vastly increase the amount of greenhouse gas emissions, which has the effect of, reducing the GDP of every nation on the entire planet over time. So, I know that we're the initiative, we're the despoilers, but we're gonna make more money in the long run if we don't run spoils on the major nations. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think the executive decision here is to earn more money in the long run. However, what you do get by running spoils is, 253 money, which is double my money, every time the spoils tick happens if I have all 3 control points. Spoils is insane. It gives you an incredible amount of money, and every single faction will run spoils. You have to run spoils somewhere to have enough money. The economic system in this game for cash is vastly imbalanced at the moment. It will very likely change. Spoils needs to be nerfed hard. It needs an extreme hammer taken to spoils. It is too good for money. Way, way too good for money. You can run orgs that take 400 income a month from you, CIA, and you can still end up profitable because of the spoils that you're running in nations. Exceedingly profitable from the spoils that you're running in nations. Like, then what is the point of the economy system to begin with? Like, do I want spaceflight program for Canada? The thing about Canada is that it is way up in the north, so investment in boost does not give as much boost per investment point as nations that are more equatorial. Equatorial nations will give way more boost per investment point because they are equatorial. Because they're equatorial. Unfortunately, there's not that many that have the ability to boost that are equatorial. See, here in India, you get 0.28 to 0.36, a value between those numbers, between 0.28 and 0.36. The reason why this varies on boost, you can see here with France, you get between 0.22 and 0.34, is that it depends on where the boost goes. The game will always prefer adding boost to a region that is closer to the equator. So right here in Kourou, which is France owned, you have the space center down here that gives you 13.5 boost per year at the start of the game. Any gains to boost that you put in to France will go here preferentially. And I don't think that there is a cap, but there probably should be for an individual location. because regions have a cap on how much mission control that they can possibly provide. There is a cap for mission control, but there isn't one on boost, which is a little bit weird. It's a little weird, but hey, we just have to go with it. Let's actually progress beyond turn 2. All right, so our first major decision, quote-unquote major decision, major early game decision here is that we need to choose between getting 3 influence per month, getting 15 additional research per month, getting 3 ops per month, or getting 10 cash per month. The cash is the weakest of these options. Influence is always tempting, but 3 is too low. Of course, the ops is tempting because we currently have 0 income on ops. And this would give us income on ops. I'm gonna take research. Because obviously I'm gonna take research. I will always take research. Research is amazing.
Long live the revolution.
Okay, we succeeded over here. Why? Oh god. Well, there goes that.
They found something.
Why would the AI at the start of the game want to crack down Canada from someone they like? Your focus should be on getting your own points. Like, they must not have someone that can give them more points than can only steal points. Huh. We have investigated the thing. We have gained 20 additional influence and science. Just a one-time deal on the science. Research alien signatures. Hey, research alien signatures. Alien signatures. I will get the 1 point in there now.
We've gained significant support.
We have gained the executive in Canada. Good. Hey, an enemy counselor has been detected. Gee, I wonder where. So there, we have detected one. But there's obviously one in Canada, and yet we can't see it. Obviously, there's one in Canada that we can't see because they did a freaking crackdown on the legislature control point in Canada. So
Ready for orders.
now I'm forced with a weird situation where I could lose this point to someone. And that could cause issues. So we're still at 0% for the US. We have 1.7 on our neighbor control points. We can increase our chance of success by increasing our public opinion in the United States, or we could attempt to go for Mexico next, which... Or, in the alternative, we could try to save up our points to find another counselor, which I do need someone with command. This rebel has a lot of command and is a quick learner. Unfortunately, is an enemy of the state, so they cannot do any actions in Malaysia. Or no, they can't do any actions in Ukraine. Oh boy. Their hometown is in Ukraine, so they can't ever do any action there. They can work anywhere else, and that is acceptable. That is acceptable. I don't know how this works, though, if Russia takes Ukraine. Does that mean that Russia becomes the home nation, in which case then he wouldn't be able to do any actions in Russia? We'll see what happens there. Oh, that's good to have. Extra income just provided. Apparent loyalty is set to 12. All right. Prohibited to inspire. That's fine. Earthbound is okay-ish. We can remove it later if we don't like it. And has quick learner, which is 100% required. So when when I have the influence, I'm probably going to take this guy. He's the only guy that has 30 cost on this list. I don't know what affects the cost. I think it has something to do with like your faction preferences on the influence cost on these. I think it's faction preference. I wish he had decrease unrest, but orgs that give command, there's some orgs that give command that provide the decrease unrest mission type. So we want to give this guy that sort of a setup. You do start with 2 admin. You start with 7 espionage. Wow, and 7 command. That's nice. So when I get this guy added to my roster, we will get 5 plus 7 plus 2. We will get 14 additional control point cap by taking this guy. So we'll go from 138 all the way up to 152. Because it's based off of persuasion, command, and administration. Persuasion, command, administration. The 3 most important stats in the entire game. All right, Rebel, with your 7 command, do I want to increase unrest again? So increasing unrest will affect the coup chance. As will popular support, so yeah, that will increase the chance of a coup. Now, I'm going to run the increased unrest with this guy without any ops
The
bonuses.
government must fall.
I didn't want to...
Ready.
Alright, fine.
Ready.
Do I want to take the 12% chance with you, or do I want to try to, like, run Stabilized Nation on Canada with you? Or what? I also need to make sure that we are... Oh, I don't want investment in military. I never... Great. I would like full investment in the spaceflight program just so that I can get things like mission control in Canada rather than boost. I think mission control in Canada is one of the better options for investment for Canada if you're going to hold on to it. I'm probably not going to hold on to it though, but I also don't want to spoil it either for later. Because there will be a technology that gives the United States claims on the entirety of Canada. And I think later, Mexico. And, yeah, let's just say that there's also something that gives a claim between Russia and the United States. So they confederate. And there's a way to get the European Union as well. There's a way to gain claims on territory that would be within the European Union. So in the late game, I believe that there is theoretically a way to unite the entire Northern Hemisphere into a single nation. I believe that there is a pathway to do that if you so chose. The issue with that, though, is that you'll only have the 6 control points that you could lose relatively easily. And the way that GDP into investment points scales disfavors large nations. So your investment points are effectively the cube root of your GDP. in billions. It's not technically a full, like, actual cube root. It is to the power of 0.33 exactly. So if you take 22292 and you take that to the power of 0.33, you end up with 27.22. Now, some of that gets spent on the armies, but as you can see, the nation's GDP on this tooltip, the nation's GDP provides a base of 27.22. Exactly what the math tells me it should be. So the thing about cube rooting like this, or to a power of 0.33, is that the larger the number, the lower the gain from increasing the number further. So 2 nations with 10 trillion GDP have more total investment points than 1 nation with 20. That's the lesson out of this. It's actually, from an investment point standpoint, better to have 2 nations at 10 trillion than 1 nation at 20. But that 1 nation at 20 has way more research. That 1 nation at 20 has more research. So there are benefits to being big in knowledge investment, military investment, etc. But there's advantages to being small with things like boost, mission control, heck, even building armies and nuclear weapons, things that are permanent and singular, better for smaller nations. Things that are not so permanent, like the actual military technology spending, things that will scale better through continuous lots of investment based off of the size of the nation and its population versus education level. Yeah, these things favor the bigger nations. Very much so. So basically the top half is for big nations. The bottom half favors smaller. You could still do the bottom half with bigger nations. It's just, generally speaking, not quite as efficient. So what do I want this counselor to do? That is the question. Do I make this play on Mexico? It'll be easier to take Mexico with Belize and Guatemala. So that's where I'll start.
Bringing them to our side.
So that's where I'll
Ready
start.
for
Yeah,
orders.
this process of getting into the US does take several turns, and it does take quite a fair amount of time. Alright, what am I going to do with this guy? Are you also going to increase unrest here? Or should I use you elsewhere? Now, I think I'm going to see who the heck
Surveilling target
cracked
area.
down on
Ready
me.
to go.
If they try to if someone tries to take their control point, I'm going to see them, and then I can investigate them and potentially kill them.
I'm here.
Alright, what do I want for
At
you?
your service.
Alright, this guy with 3 command and 8 espionage. Espionage affects purge. And sabotage facilities, which, yeah, good luck with that. That makes a lot of enemies. Investigation affects the investigating counselors. So I think I want to actually start finding out the real loyalty on some of my current counselors, so we'll go ahead and we will look at this guy first because he is the criminal. We'll find out about that guy, and we will confirm our assignments. The servants, hi.
On Overwatch.
Hello, servants. Nice to see you.
Nothing unusual found.
Really?
The revolution is coming.
The revolution is coming. Yes, I know it is coming. I think someone here is reducing
We're
the
taking
stuff,
over.
but it's fine. We have taken over Guatemala, a point in Guatemala. So, Guatemala, yeah, this is a place that we are going to spoil. This is why I want Guatemala. Guatemala is going to be spoiled, rotten. They're going to get all of their money will be mine. This will end up giving me 102 per point put into spoils once I have both of these points, with 4.2 points per month. You know, that's 102 every cycle, every single counselor cycle, in money given to me for having full spoils on Guatemala with both their points. I have 1 point, so it's half of that right now, but still, that's a lot of money. It looks like they just cracked down just because. Whatever. Whatever, game. Just give me this other point.
Reporting in.
You... What do I want you to do? There's not really too much you can do at the moment, because I don't really need to purge anyone yet, and that is a hostile act. So I will keep an eye on Canada, and we're going to try again on the investigate.
Surveillance.
What's the op?
And you... Yeah, I think someone's here reducing. Oh no, I forgot. This is the every week phase of the game, so the insurgency increase to unrest. This unrest increase is 0.25 and not 0.5. See, I'm used to 0.5, not 0.25, because that's what it's like the rest of the game. But I'm going to have you do that at 61. I'm not going to spend any ops right now. I don't care if it fails. It's just I'm going to have control eventually anyway, and I'm going to have to reduce all of that unrest. Right now, this is basically preventing Russia from getting access to all of the monthly boost, because the control point, the monthly investment points are much reduced. Wow, they're running spoils. Please stop running spoils on Kazakhstan.
Surveillance complete.
I think I'm going to have to try to grab Kazakhstan next. All right, yeah, it went up to 0.25 by 0.25 to 5.
Our presence is growing. Prepping for
Hey,
next
we won.
mission.
Spoil it. I like money. You like money? I like money. Alright, next, grab Bailey's.
Establishing control.
Where to?
You know,
Acknowledged.
I clicked on... Oh, it was taken by... It was taken by Project Exodus. They must also wish to get into Mexico, but I'm not gonna let them. Mexico is also in insurgency. Oh boy. Do I go with 69%? I think I'll go with
Establishing our
69% to
presence.
get my first point in
Your
Mexico.
orders?
You are gonna surveil in Mexico.
Eyes up.
Ready for orders.
Was that a success? I didn't actually pay
Standing
attention.
by.
Yes, so your loyalty is actually 15. Your loyalty is 15. So I want to make a note. Make that a note that he's L15 at the moment, and then that's the baseline, and every time I increase later, I will of course iterate on that number.
Where do you need me?
I'm here.
I wish I could make better use of you,
Ready
Kingpin.
for my mission.
You are going to investigate not the guy with a whole bunch of security, I guess this one.
Surveilling target.
Acknowledged.
Alright. Shall we attempt 25%? No. No, no, no. Nah, that's of no point, really. It just makes enemies from a neutral faction. Yeah,
The
keep
people
doing it.
demand justice.
I wish I had another person with high persuasion.
Initiate
If I get this
recon.
point. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting.
Tracking failed.
Failed to find
We
out
were
the
unable to
stuff.
instigate
Oh
an
god.
uprising.
Fails. So many fails on O's. Select the advisory team. So do we want a 10% boost to economy priority? So this means that every single point that we add into the economic priority will have an effect that is 10% greater than normal. Do we want to have an extra 5% each to spaceflight and boost? Do we want to have a 5% each in military and build army? Or do we want a 5% each in welfare and knowledge? So I'm saying economy this time.
Our supporters are in
It's
place.
a real decision. It's a choice for me between the knowledge, welfare, and the economy. But because the economy one is 10%, depending on the size of the nation, that can end up being significantly better over time than just the flat knowledge increase. Now, I'm realizing that I am now in front. I am now in front of a cat. Hello. There's my Ollie. There's the pretty cat. He brought his baby. He brought his baby. Yes, that's my boy. That's my boy bringing his baby to me. Now, where am I going to live? Am I going to live here? Hold on, am I going to have to live right here? Like right here? Yes. I will live right here. Okay, that's where I will live now. Probably bigger. Probably bigger and like here-ish. Yeah, is that better? I think that might be ever so slightly better, if not very distracting. But now we can have cat. That is far more important. Having cat is far more important than me in that corner. We have taken control over the point in Mexico, which is extremely nice. Get rid of that spoils and funding. You're going into spaceflight program. yeah, that's what I would like. I don't know why people like put so many points into welfare when it's not even remotely required to put that many points in welfare. Like, yeah, the more that you invest in the welfare, the faster your inequality will decrease. However, there comes a point where you then have to change it. You can't just set it and forget it. If you set it to like 1 pip or 2 pips, it is going to take a while longer, yes, to decrease your inequality, but I don't find that the effect of inequality is that excessive to begin with. So as long as we have investment, that's like the key. As long as you have investment, you're good. As far as I can tell. Have I played through the whole game yet? No. I haven't played into the 2030s yet, and this is a game that could last into the 2040s to early 50s. I know what happens in the 2030s. I know of key event that happens at that point and how to and the preparation for it. It's just I haven't gotten there in a playthrough yet. I've sort of been exploring the strength of the different starts, and I think my preference is the US start. I have yet to do a playthrough though of unifying the European Union. I will have to at some point attempt to play through as unifying the European Union, because I've done China, I've done India, and I've done the US. And my favorite one is the US one so far, just preference-wise.
What's the op?
The India one is nice, but only because it gets you into China. Like, you can get to China more easily. That's not good. That's,
Ready for orders.
yeah, that's not good. That is the opposite of good. That is like the opposite of good. Ah, so we have elite dissatisfaction in Kazakhstan now. Huh. I'm probably just going to start rolling on that 10%. Because he really has nothing better to
Time
do.
for some new leadership.
Standing by for orders.
What I wanted to do, I believe, is set... Who's
Standing by.
my public campaigner? I want you to ideally do a public campaign in Kazakhstan, but that 51% is really low. I want you to campaign in the United States for me, because it turns out I have a bit of cash now.
I will tell our story.
I've
Ready
ended
for
up
my
with
mission.
a little bit of cash to work with, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, having this every week business is not kind on influence income.
Bringing them on board.
Acknowledged.
What were you doing here? Surveilling? I guess that's how we found the life forms there. We are halfway through the stream.
Surveilling target area.
We have made it to November. We have done 1 month of gameplay.
We believe we can.
Oh, hello, Academy.
Setting a watch.
The trick is not to look directly at what you are trying to
Ooh,
see.
Skywatch finished
Offset your
first.
focal
That's
point somewhere to the
interesting.
side of where you think you noticed the
We're
movement.
doing orbital shipbuilding.
Now,
That's
the sort of
fine.
proverb
Oh God.
teaches that in the creation of heaven
Mission
and
to
earth,
Space
a wise
also
people
finished.
thought-
Okay, the one that I was pumping everything into is the one that's finishing last? Alright, people apparently hate me for existing and want to dodge what I'm researching. This is fine. Allows me to detect alien abductions. Cool. We have completed our objective. And we gain a whole bunch more objectives. I'm gonna work towards the alien flora because I don't really have too much better to do at the moment.
Our case remains unheard.
You've watched several people start it but never get to the point of aliens. So there are two that I have watched that are at that point of aliens. One is Potato McWhiskey, who is not having a particularly great time on his playthrough. The other is Perun AU. Perun Gaming AU, whatever the name is of that channel. They have guides. They are much better off on their playthrough. My only problem with both of them is Perun Gaming AU, Perun. I think they also helped with the Kickstarter on this because they have an org named after them. For Potato McWhiskey, he's both getting his butt kicked and for a period of time had stopped enjoying during the playthrough, but has sort of clawed back some semblance of the playthrough. Still think he's going to lose, ultimately, but yeah, Perun's is going better, shall we say. You failed? But my money...
Our has been foiled.
Yeah, figures.
Our presence is growing.
Oh, come on! Okay. We got another point in Mexico. This is fine. Wow, Resistance failed the purge on my crackdown point in Canada. Ugh. Sucks to be them. I'm just trying to get into the US. Like that's the only point of this. I don't care about keeping
At your service.
these other nations. It's just as long as I can get into the US, we're good. Oh, my crackdown ended. Cool. I could, if I had 20 influence, protect that. But no. So as much as I would like to throw more money at the US to try to get my opinion up, we have 7% there, and we're at 11 here. I want to run public opinion. In Kazakhstan.
We'll make our appeal.
I'm here.
So, here's the thing. I could attempt to purge now the oligarchs. I could crack down and purge. I could continue my coup attempts, which, if I succeed on the public campaign, it would actually increase the odds of the coup going off. And that would get rid of Humanity First
By any means necessary.
on here.
Where to?
They won't like me that much for it, but hey, it would work. God, 3%, even with a plus 4.3 from control points in neighbors, it's still only 3% because of the size of the economy. Well, better keep on going then. Wow, that's low for that third point. Hold on. We have the mass media. What's your problem here? We get a bonus to the public campaign missions. Whatever. That isn't actually all that great. Orgs based in Mexico cost less money to acquire. Cool. Cool.
Taking
That's one
control.
thing I haven't looked at is if
At
I
your
can
service.
even get any orgs. Because they all cost a whole lot of influence. What I need is for like admin orgs to pop that you only have to spend money for and not influence. There are orgs that only cost money. And I need those. I'm also not paying any attention to my experience points. I should do that. Bearing in mind that it's 20 for stuffs. Alright, what do I want this guy to do? Surveillance in Canada?
Initiating
Sure, why not?
surveillance.
I really don't have anything for the Kingpin to do
On
at the moment.
Overwatch.
But I want to have him. That's the problem.
The dreamer in me wants to believe it would bring a golden age of advancement and prosperity.
Okay,
for
we
all
got We Are Not
mankind.
Alone. Somehow this
But
went
I
down
know
to
best.
8%.
I know better.
Laying
Any
the
race
groundwork.
advanced enough to find us
Prepping
would
for
be
mission.
advanced enough to end us, likely without even regarding us. Commander Fiona Ayawade.
Yeah, stuff things. Okay. Notes. What do I want? I want advanced chemical rocketry. Yeah, I want advanced chemical rocketry. Because that's going to give me a whole bunch of engineering projects, including high thrust probes. That's like number 1. Getting the reusable rockets engineering doohickey will be an infinitely repeatable technology engineering project that gives me an organization that gives me monthly boost income. It just gives you boost income for having the org assigned to your counselors. A lot of boost income for the phase of the game. So, but it costs 1,000 for the first research, which is a lot for this phase of the game. Things like super heavy chemical rockets and interplanetary chemical rockets and space tugs, all things that I want. In the end. So yeah, I want to pick this one up first, since it will help with my ability to get things to other planets and the moon.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
Hey, we increased the public opinion, so that changed it to
Prepping for
10%.
next mission.
The old regime remains in power.
11%. Great.
Wrapping up here.
We got clandestine cells, which gives us the ability to recruit a 5th counselor. So that, unfortunately, is more important than researching the alien flora. In fact, that is so important that I'm going to reduce my input on advanced chemical rocketry for a bit. This will finish on the 19th of June of 2023.
We've gained significant support.
How is it that I win the low rolls in Mexico and yet I can't get them in the other places? Hey, someone crashed in China. That's wonderful. Another alien counselor added to the mix. %4? It's highly unlikely we will succeed on Mexico on this 49% roll, but we'll try it.
We'll be running this place in no time.
Where do you
We
need
shall
me?
try it. As for you, I guess this whole time I really should have just been trying to increase unrest here.
We will bring it down.
Ready.
Throw money, public
Making
campaigning
our
in here.
case.
Standing by for orders.
6% is way too low of odds. What is offsetting it? They are in control of... I don't know what this Joint Council Command is, where that's coming from. There's also 4.2 on National Cohesion Elite Satisfaction. All right, they went in and they put spoils on. Great. Great. So you're gonna increase unrest.
The people.
You're
will
gonna
rise.
keep increasing unrest, and when you coup, I'm gonna celebrate.
We must not only
Our only
Resistance and Protectorate encountered. Oh boy. Panic! Glorious, beautiful panic. Guatemala's cohesion will go down. We get 250 money and 50 influence. Wow. Hey, it's pretty nice being the initiative, huh? So it increases unrest, but I don't care. This is a nation that I am spoiling.
The people will come to our side.
Wow, critical
We'll
success.
be ready for new orders soon.
That counted as 2, so now we have much higher. Yeah.
The people will be set free.
The initiative is just various exploitable beliefs. Great.
Their government remains stable.
Our counselor has been spotted. Oh noes! I wish it would tell me.
We still lack support.
Like, there's this big news feed off to the side. I can hit N to show all of the text on it, but so I have 3 messages telling me that the counselor has been detected. My L15 dude. And as I figured, they failed to take the executive of Mexico. Alright, so that
Standing
means
by
this
for
guy
orders.
needs to leave.
Evading pursuit.
Doesn't matter where, just has to leave. You were not detected, so we can continue public campaigning here just fine.
I will try to sway the public.
Ready to go.
Ready to go. What is your op chance on the coup now? 26. That's still too low.
We will bring it down.
Reporting in.
You're gonna try again? Although, I have enough influence now. What orgs do we have? Nothing that we can afford. I have the opportunity to replace a counselor with anyone on the list. What do I wish that I had that I don't have? Because I've been noticing that I haven't really been using the Kingpin to that great of extent at the moment. But I want a Kingpin. They're so strong once we get through this phase of the game. I'm gonna live with it. Throw...
We'll bring this nation to our side.
Don't throw 64 at it.
Establishing control.
Don't throw 64 at it. Throw like 16. If anything, I would throw 64 at the US, but yeah, 64 is a lot. And throw like
Bringing
16.
them to our side.
Confirm? Confirm.
Hunkering down.
We've moved the needle.
Moved the needle another 6%.
The uprising is underway.
The uprising is underway. Cool. Our adversaries have cracked down on mass media in Canada. You are going to give me science.
We're taking over.
Yes, a child wanted to keep a Xeno pet. No. We have succeeded in Mexico. Cool. Now I could, like, ally Canada and Mexico at 10 influence, but I'm not gonna. Not gonna. There's no point. Okay, now that I have all of the control points in these two nations, now it's easier to improve my popularity in the United States. Unfortunately now, that also means that there's pretty much nothing for this counselor to do. Unless there's certain individual nations that I would like to spoil. In fact, there is one if it's not already taken. Aha, I want you. The nation of Singapore here, the nation, city-state of Singapore has a population of 6 million, a per capita GDP of 103,244. A peaceful, flawed democracy with a GDP of $615 billion. They have approximately 8 points of investment points. If you have both of these control points, you get 179 money for every spoils that you run on here. 179.6644 times 8 per month.
Putting our people in place.
Times 8
Your
per month.
orders?
Do I want to defend interests? At least in
Protecting our
Mexico,
interests.
since I have the
Your
points
orders?
at the moment. I really should have you increasing popularity in the United States now. Especially since I have the money for it.
We must persuade the people.
At your service.
How's that coup chance over here? 41%. That is significantly better. I'm going to throw
I
those
will
op
bring
points
down the
away.
government.
Confirm assignments, and
Securing
he's
our
still going to
interests.
fail, but, you know, I'll have thrown the dice. Defend interests complete.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
Ah, good. We're now 13% in the United
Freedom
States.
and justice.
Yeah, we won. We succeeded. We have both of the points in Kazakhstan because of that. And We're no longer part of the Eurasian Union. This is why you spend a little, like a few extra weeks. This is why you spend a few extra weeks to get Kazakhstan through a coup. Because otherwise it would have taken an entire year to get access to the full 2.5 boost. We would have been stuck at like 0.2 of this boost income until we could have peacefully left the Federation. This is mine now. I will be defending interests here. This will be permanently mine. I will accept no loss of Kazakhstan ever. I need this boost income. In fact, I need this boost income so much that you're going to get my permanent treatment here. Don't really need the mission control so much because it's so expensive. I'll have a point dedicated to it. I don't really go for the funding either. This nation is Boost Nation. Yeah, this is the Boost Nation. It does need the points in Unity. It does not need points in welfare besides the pity point to offset economy spending. Yeah, this is fine. I just need to reduce the strife. I need to reduce the unrest here after increasing it a whole bunch of times. Now I have to spend some time reducing it to 0 so that we can actually get all 7.91 points out of here, because unrest reduces your investment points. Alien abductions reported in the United States. Oh noes.
We've got our people in place.
We have successfully controlled nation in Singapore as well. I need to pause so that I actually run.
We'll be ready for new orders soon.
Full spoils. On Singapore. Now, you may have noticed that I'm having to go constantly to change my priority here. I want to set up a keeps priority on here. So it's going to be 3, 1, 3, 1, and then 3 on each of those. I will guaranteed have to make adjustments every single time I take control of a control point. But this is a better, easier template to save and set as my default versus the spoils one. And I should technically make a default that's just spoils. Yeah, I should technically make one that's like just spoils, so let's design just spoils. Is that actually just the kleptocratic? Why can I not save as new? Oh, because it's just klepto. Okay. Sure. Fine. Whatever. If I had this point here, it would just be the same as klepto. But it's not technically the same because this other control point exerting 3, it doesn't work out as much, as evenly, I think. Wait, what? It's still 67. Huh. Regardless, so all... These things are weird sometimes. It's weird how it does its averaging. So it's saying that all of my points are going into spoils, and no matter how that's set on here, it's averaging based off of the individual columns. So it's not averaging based off of rows, it's averaging based off of columns. So if all of my points go into spoils, it doesn't matter how many pips are on there, it's all still going to spoils, so nothing changes about the total percentage going into spoils. Alright, sure, whatever. That's how that works. I do want the other point. It's still too early to attempt to grab points in the United States. I do need more popular support in order to do that. So we are going to go for the other point in Singapore.
Bringing them on board.
That way I can run
What's the
kleptocratic on there all the time. All of the time. It also means that technically I could go in here and just be like, yo, kleptocratic. And we're done. As for this guy, I want you defending my interests over here in Kazakhstan.
Making things safe for our people.
Where to?
You are going to increase my popularity. Spend another 160
I will tell our
bucks.
story.
Ready for my mission.
Yes, you are ready to move on. You can assault the Guatemala aliens
Taking it to them.
and hopefully not die to Flora. Literal Flora. Gosh, my stuff here. So, tomorrow, the org updates. I believe it's every 16th of the month is when the orgs update. Confirm. Go.
Securing our control.
Defend interests complete. Usually it's the second half of the month. So we'll see
Public
if it
sentiment is increasing
was actually
with us.
updated on the 15th or if it will change on this next cycle. Public campaign has succeeded. We are now 17% in the United States.
Target still in one piece.
Aw, they failed, but they're still
We
alive.
failed to take control.
They failed in Singapore. Really? Really? You
Ready for orders.
take control of Singapore.
Establishing our presence.
Boarding in.
Alright, now what the heck do I do with you? I just go around, like, spending points on nations that I know I'm going to get rid of. Like, little easy-to-take locations that can just give me money. Because not having the points spent is not having that income. Wow, that's actually pretty easy to get into Portugal, but do I really want to spoil Portugal? Yes.
We'll bring this nation to our side.
Your orders?
I guess. Alright, keep on keeping on with the public
Making
support.
our case.
Where do you need me?
I need you to have minus unrest so I could actually use your command to reduce the unrest in Mexico. That would be great. Because otherwise I have nothing to do with you until I find more alien assets to blow up.
Initiating surveillance.
All right, let's look at those thingies. That doesn't look any different, so fine. Be that way, game. How was the experience? Ah, you're at 20. Right. You are going to get what now? You are getting persuasion. That gives me an extra point on my control point cap. Are you a quick learner? Yes, so you are good as well to go. You are the public campaigner, so you're technically also a persuasion. You have 0 admin. But I need the persuasion now. That will, because I haven't hit confirm assignments yet, that will automatically adjust my percentages based off of the new points. So we should be good. We should be good now.
Where to?
And this, yeah, this should be higher percentage. We're at 90% to take over the other point now. Over here. Confirm and go.
On Overwatch.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
We're at 24% in the United States.
We've got our people in place.
Okay, we got
We'll
the
be ready
first
for new
point in
orders soon.
Portugal. Don't
We're
mind
taking
me.
over.
We are taking over. Good.
Wrapping up here.
Good. Kleptocratic in Singapore. Now it feels more like the initiative, right? Now we should be feeling a little bit more like the initiative. We've got a few places that we are spoiling. Alright, you have stabilized, so I want you to come over here. Or make the attempt on the United States. That's not gonna quite happen yet. So you're gonna try and decrease the unrest here in Mexico. Are you at... Oh. So the unrest in Mexico is going to go down on its own, down to 4.9 at a rate of a quarter per month. Oh boy, that's actually pretty slow. That's pretty slow, but it will go down on its own. And as I get the government score raised, this resting point will also go down even more. The higher the government score, the lower the resting unrest, and like the better the inequality and the better the cohesion. The closer to 5, the closer to like low, etc. The more educated, the higher the democracy, the lower the resting unrest will be. So there are some nations where the resting unrest is 0, like Canada. Like Canada. So I don't have any ops to spend here,
We'll
so we'll
turn
just
down
go
the
with that 57% and hope we don't
Ready
die.
for my mission.
You will be used to take over this other point in Portugal. I need to note that because we have the point in Portugal, we're actually leeching 0.01 boost from the rest of the European Union. Because that is the only thing that federations do, is they share space assets with each other, specifically boost. And that's the reason why the Eurasian Federation even exists, or the Eurasian Union even exists in the first place, as taken over by the Academy on this playthrough. It's so that Kazakhstan can throw its boost to Russia. That's the only reason that they have like this federation mechanic with Russia as the Eurasian Union and things like Belarus and other claimed nations in here, so that they can get some more resources. But no, we're going to attempt to gather the
We'll be
other part of
running this
Portugal, which
place
for
in no
whatever
time.
reason, Portugal spawned with a whole bunch of initiative popularity. Oh, I see a counselor. The enemy hath appeared.
I will try to sway the public.
Reporting in.
Who is my investigator? Was that you, by chance,
Ready to go.
who's taking over Portugal? No, it's unfortunately the one that is being used
At
to
your
reduce
service.
the stuff. No? Who is it?
Where do you
Yo?
need me?
Yo, you. The one doing... My only person who can do public campaigns is the only person who can investigate. Oh well.
Standing
What are
by.
you gonna do? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. Here, mess with the Project Exodus.
The people demand justice.
It has always been true.
Mess with them a little bit. Increase their
Their
disorder.
leaders remain in power.
They've... Really?
We've moved the needle.
Humma. We are now at 28%.
Violence is abating.
We're getting close to the point where we only have 2 rolls a month. We have stabilized in Mexico. That's good.
Our presence is growing.
And we have gotten the other
Cleaning
point
things up.
in Portugal. So run kleptocratic there. Until we get kicked out or I have to abandon the nation. Chances are I will have to abandon the nation as Dolly suddenly jumps up and appears. Hi, Dolly. Hope you liked the frame with Dolly appearing. The other kitty. Yeah. Yeah, who was that, Ollie? What was she up to? She went to the window. She went directly to the window.
I'm here.
Alright, percentage goes up to 27. That's still too low for my taste at that much cost of influence. So we're still gonna work
We'll
on
restore peace
stabilizing
to this
Mexico,
Ready for orders.
and we're gonna use this guy to take control of some other nation. It doesn't actually matter so much what the nation is, just as long as it's not this one. Just as long as it's not this one. This nation has the lowest GDP in the game, and I guess in real life too. Their GDP is 5 billion. For the Central African Republic. And they start at guerrilla war. So, you know, South Sudan starts at insurrection, increasing to, oh, that is its rest value of 9. So good luck getting any points out of that. An overthrow of the government happens at 10. So, yeah, you know. Civil war is 9, like at 9, between 9 and 10. And you just get kicked out at 10. So the lower the better. ideally. I think Tunisia, decent. Namibia has decent odds. Ah, Mozambique, you like me. You like me here. So I will
Bringing them on
take that
board.
point and run 100% spoils on
At
you.
your service.
Alright, you're continuing the public campaign.
We'll make our appeal.
Where to?
Yeah, mid-game, there's potential in Africa, but it requires a lot of investment that would be better served elsewhere. I mean, yes, you can combine a lot of these nations into a single nation, but a lot of the weight of the GDP is carried by nations like Nigeria, things like South Africa that have decent GDP. Most of this, frankly, is utter garbage with very, 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 very low GDP. We're talking adding... Some of these are less than 100 billion. Like, yeah, you could very easily, like, double the GDP of a Nigeria with all these other nations added into it, but that's still pretty low. Like, if you can get an Egypt with a Nigeria, with Algeria, then it's a little bit better, but it's still low compared to other nations. Anyway, stuff, things. What is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna keep increasing? Keep increasing the stuff
Time
here
to
because
bring
it's
it
easy to
all
do?
down.
I guess so. Oh, the crackdown went away. Good. And then I need to check experience because this guy is also a quick learner. This is my command guy. So that's what I'll put on to you. Still nothing I can grab here, even if I had the influence for it. Confirm, and next turn.
Long live the revolution.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
Okay, we went up to 32%.
Things are cooling off. Prepping for next mission.
You got double the production here. So it went down by minus 0.5 rather than 0.25. Because we're not quite at that twice a month point yet. We have controlled Mozambique.
For next mission.
Kleptocracy. Go, go, go. Give me money. I like money. Org Marketplace has updated as of the 15th. That is not the button I wanted to push. Org Marketplace. We have, finally, the ability to grab an admin org. It will cost all of my money. But it's worth it. Who do I want to put it on is a great question. It depends on what other orgs are available that I can grab. Oh, hey, look, it adds public campaign. That's actually useful for this one. For my diplomat. The rest of them are trash. Getting Interpol would be nice, but it requires influence. So, we're gonna grab you as priority 1, because that gives 3 points, and then when I get the money, I'm going to put on the extra daily influence, I guess. Oh, that was influence, that wasn't persuasion, but it gives public campaign, and I could really use that on the diplomat. That's the most noticeably missing thing. How did you get hurt? Okay, I guess the United States had a thing happen. A massive hurricane has struck the Atlanta region in the United States. That's the news announcement. A massive hurricane has struck the Atlanta region, aka Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, even Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, all part of this Atlanta region. Ah. Yeah, they chose some interesting states to include in single regions on here. I would probably have not made those decisions, but balance, whatever. Whatever, balance, regions. Frankly, Texas should be Texas so that you could have the nation of Texas being Texas. Which is totally a thing, by the way. The breakup of nations technology, there's an actual technology that lets you release nations like Texas. Yeah, it's in the tech tree. You can literally release a Republic of Texas. I don't know if they call it that exactly, but it's a thing.
What's the op?
All right, you continue with spending money.
We must persuade the people.
Your orders.
Hey, Dolly.
Where do you need me?
How's it all? There's the Dolly. Hey, you. Pretty girl, are you gonna go on the back of the chair? Hey, baby. Gonna go up? Yes, there's the Dolly. Hi, Dolly, on the chair. So now we got both the babies. Okay. You. What are the odds now on the United States? It goes up to 30. It goes up to 33 with 32 influence. I'm gonna take those
Putting
odds.
our people in place.
Ready.
Chances are I fail. More likely than not to fail, but it would be great to succeed. And have to, like... and have to give up something.
Bringing them to our side.
I'd have to abandon a nation somewhere.
Reporting in.
Yeah, you're probably just gonna keep on messing with
The
these guys, because
government
I've got
must
nothing to
fall.
do with this rebel right now. He needs a decrease unrest on this counselor, so that's another org that I'm looking for, is something that gives decrease unrest. Which right now, none of these offer that. I think we're ready
They're
to
not
move
my
on.
fault.
Hello, humanity first. Yeah, no hard feelings about Kazakhstan, right? Right?
The revolution is coming.
The
I hope
people
there's
come to our side.
no hard feelings about that. Oh, right, because this went off first, I should have a slightly
Cleaning things
higher percent chance now
Laying the groundwork.
to get this point. Yeah, it's 46% now because of the public campaign. Now, one thing I wanted to make sure that I do, it doesn't really matter so much this turn, but I want to make sure that I have the money spent on giving this person the ability to public campaign. Usually I want organizations that give actual attribute points, but this is an exception when it's giving a mission that is using their primary attribute.
We've gained significant support.
We have gained support over here, but I'll probably have to just get rid of it. Not exploit, but kleptocracy, that's the one. Steal
We were
all the
unable to
everything.
establish
We
control.
still failed. Ah, great. We failed in the United States. Fine.
Ready for my mission.
Keep on
I
increasing
will
that
try to sway the
popularity.
public.
Ready for my mission.
What's the op?
So now, rather than running on the 10% chance, now she can also help
I
to
will
increase
tell
the
our
popularity,
story.
and now we can increase it
At your service.
twice each turn. So realistically, we should only have to do that this turn, twice, before it being palatable to attempt the control points again. Until then, I only have 3 more control point cap, so I think I'm done. I don't think there's really any other nation. All right, well, this one's 1.69, so obviously there's still something I could add and be within my cap. I guess South
Putting our
Sudan
people in place.
will be the one.
Ready for orders. The people will rise.
Confirm. And go. Now, when I do get the United States, each one of these points is
Mom's last years were
27.21.
a blur of doctors and treatments.
So
By that
the
point,
next one they're working
every
on is
movement
vacuum
was painful.
electrostatic principles.
With
Great.
each passing day,
And
humanity
deep space
shatters the
propulsion
boundaries
concepts.
of the
Why are
possible.
Humanity First winning? What do they have that's giving them so much research? They have points in Indonesia, but that shouldn't be giving them enough research to double. Weird. All the major nations, they're taken by other thingies. What do you have? What do you have? You have 318 research. You have more research than I do. Of course, when I get the United States, my research is going to be number 1, but what do you have that's giving you so much research?
The people will be set free.
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
The people will come to our side.
Hey, we're at 50% in the United States now.
Our supporters are in place.
Okay, we got South Sudan.
Wrapping up here.
So we will very briefly run this. The new normal has finally hit, 1st of February 2023. So now we can only run our counselors twice per month, but there is an exception to this. It means that they're effectively going to operate their missions for twice as long, as sort of like a balance type of thing. So things like increase unrest and decrease unrest will be twice as effective now as previously. The swings will be half points rather than quarter points going forward. And I believe that this also affects the percentages on public opinion. You'll get more public opinion every time you run public opinion. And it's similar across the board. It's like everything is doubled, but you can still only get 1 control point at a time. So this is a nerf to cadence of control point taking at a point in the game where you should be close to or at your cap anyway, so it really doesn't affect things too awfully much in the end. It's just reducing your micro of having to make these decisions 4 times a month. You'll have more access to resources at this point because you'll have 2 weeks of accrual. It's just glorious overall. It's really, really nice. But it does hurt a bit more when you fail.
Making our case.
It hurts a bit more to
Standing
fail
by.
now. Yeah, so now continuing to
The
increase
government must
here
fall.
is going to increase by half of a
Ready
point.
for my mission.
What is our odds on the United States? We can have a 58% chance. Or we can campaign one more time, double campaign one more time, and get up to around a 60-ish% chance,
Making our
I
case.
think.
I'm here.
As for this guy, what are you going to do? Probably increase unrest here,
It's
because I really
time to
don't
bring
have
it all down.
any more points to work with. We got like ship component stuff there. Don't want to take that engineering tech. Do wish I had some ops income at this point, but oh well. Space docks, no, I don't want those. I'm waiting
Death
for
to the tyrants.
a bunch of other stuff.
We've moved the needle.
We've moved the needle by 4%.
We've moved the needle.
And another 4%. We're at 48%, or 58%, excuse me. The higher you go on public opinion, it seems that the lower the gain that you get each cycle. And of course, there are critical success. Wow, a whole point added to Bailey's unrest. 1 whole point when you critical success now. That is significant. That is quite significant. We're up to 5 boost. That's fantastic. Someone's here. Oh! Ow! Dang. Who was that? That was Resistance? I think that was the Resistance, and quite possibly Project Exodus both ran public campaigns here and decreased our public opinion to 40% from 56,
I'm here.
despite us running 2 campaigns.
I will tell our story.
Alright.
Acknowledged.
At this point,
Standing by for orders.
I'm gonna have to try to go for that
Bringing them to our
50%.
Where
Uh,
to?
And since these guys have
The
nothing better to
government
do,
must fall.
What's the op?
oh, frick, I didn't look at the stuff. Oh, yeah, I should have looked at the stuff. Do I want to pump this person, this diplomat, with persuasion? Yeah, the diplomat should be the persuasion pump person. I should have done this before the start of the turn, because now it won't apply those points to persuasion until the next turn. Gosh, that would have been so nice to have those 2 points, because that would have increased the odds on the control nation pretty considerably. It's a big difference. Oh, and this guy was ready to level up as well. Ah, great. You are the kingpin. You are gonna focus on espionage. I know that doesn't help me on the control points, but I need you to be espionage. In fact, I'm going to be naming him espionage, just so that I'm clear with these counselors. We're going to have persuasion, we have espionage, we have the spy is best at espionage here, but you're going to be investigation. Because you have investigate counselor on you, you're the investigator. You're going to focus more on investigation. Realistically speaking, though, with these types of counselors, you want both investigation and espionage, but you're going to want to focus one as your primary, and then this guy, of course, is command. He just needs to be able to reduce unrest, and that's the one that I'm particularly looking for on new organizations. And the 5th slot should be a scientist, but we'll see what we end up with once I unlock the 5th slot.
The uprising is underway.
Another critical success. Wow.
We're winning their hearts and minds.
Okay.
Wrapping up here.
Wow, that only goes up by 3%.
Death to tyrants.
Oh, it's the Academy. The Academy is here, trying to increase the public opinion in the United States.
Control.
I will try to sway the public.
I'm here.
Ready. We'll be running this place in no time.
They're not going to
Standing
stop
by.
me. I'm gonna get that nation. They don't want me to, and soon enough, the thing will happen, and the Academy will basically die. So let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about their
People
popularity.
will rise.
It's not gonna last very long.
In each of us, embers
Yes,
glow
the thing.
through meditation, prayer.
Okay, so we just got the main technology that I wanted. It's going to give me a whole bunch of engineering projects. The next one that I want at the beginning of the game, before we really progress too much further, so we got We Are Not Alone, and we're working on getting clandestine cells, or clandestine cells. We want Arrival Domestic Politics and Arrival Economics. Arrival Economics will give us this Arrival Markets engineering bonus, and the Domestic Politics gives us Institutional Outreach. Now, these are 1,000 cost engineering projects, but I'm gonna want both of them. These are projects, generally speaking, that will either, or I think these specific ones increase your control point cap, which, yeah, very much needed, or increases your spending, your investment stuff. Though I think those two in particular are control point increasing. Reusable rockets is one of the ones that I need. But I need to get the thingy. I can't stop clandestine cells yet.
The people will be set free.
The uprising is underway.
So remember what I said about hitting 10.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
Wow, it now stands at 39? Please stop, Academy.
Our presence
Oh,
is
thank
growing.
God, I got the first point. The first point is control of the financial sector, giving us bonus to funding income from this nation. Really? Oh, we also get a mission control. Cool. I want to... Do I really want to adjust anything about this? So early game, like this, when I'm just getting control of the United States, this priority is fine. I don't want to change it too awfully much until I can afford other nations, to hold other nations, at which point other nations will be where I get the majority of my boost and my mission control. The United States is military spending, is meant for military spending. This, I will focus fully on military spending so that we can be, ideally, robotics age by the event in the 2030s. However, there is a complicating factor. There is a cap to Miltech that should absolutely be in this tooltip, and I don't know why it's not in this tooltip. There is a humanity-wide cap to your military technology level that will increase with specific technologies, global technologies. And I believe that the cap starts at 5. The cap starts at 5, which just barely gets you into the next phase. It, like, stops at the next phase beyond information age. There is a relatively early tech that'll increase it by half a point. Only half a point. And every other tech only increases by half a point. But this eventually can go up to like 8, I think. I think it's 8. Anyway, we succeeded. Huzzah! We got our first point in the United States, and it's only mid-March. And we got one of the armies. So that's nice. Is it the army that is here or overseas? It looks like it is the army that is over... No, it's here. It's this one. Dang. I need to get the control point that gives me this 2nd Infantry Division army, because it is away from home right now, which means that the United States is losing out on half a point of investment points every month because that military is away from home. Or that army is away from home. So who gives me control of the 2nd? That gives me the 1st Armored. That's the 1st Marine. This is the 2nd Marine. 2nd Infantry and 3rd Infantry. Was that the 2nd? Which one were you? The 2nd Infantry. God. So I have to go all the way up to 5th to get control of that one, just to get the extra half of a point. Well, that's the game. That is the game. So we're going to keep increasing our popularity. The increasing of popularity will get easier once I take... I think it's this... Oh, do you not have... Oh, God, I have to get the 4th point for mass media to increase the public campaign. Great. You get a bonus to stabilize missions on the next point. You have to pay less for the orgs that originate here on Corpse. Then the 5th point just makes it easier to get the executive, but that's fine.
Acknowledged.
All right, you keep working on controlling more of these points. I should be banking
Bringing them on
investment
board.
points, but oh well.
Acknowledged.
It's a new org cycle. Oh, thank God. Finally. Finally. Oh, wow. Okay. Do I have the cash? I do. Ooh, yes. 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 Thank you so very much, game, for your generous donation of a 1.25 monthly boost income on an organization, which also gives me a net 2 extra org capacity. Oh my God, this counselor is now very, very nice. This counselor is now very, very nice. Her administration is 17. The cap is 25. Yeah, this is good. This is good. A 4.2 monthly boost income in March of 2023 is insane. Is insane. So, who is ready to level? You are ready to level. My spy. You are the espionage spy. No, you are the investigation spy. I need to invest in points that give me stuff, though, so you are going to get admin. Ah, gosh, I wish I had Australia there. Would have given me a point in both investigation and espionage for 1 cost. That's interesting that that's 1, though. Needs 100 of the influence, though. Which is sad. Oh god, if I had control of... Oh, if I have a criminal! Oh, hey, if I have a criminal, I can get 2 mission control. Oh, I don't usually like spending more org capacity. This 2 stars means it uses 2 of the org capacity. I don't like spending more than points that I get, and the point that I get here is security. I have to get plus 2 mission control. Are you kidding? That is extremely lucky. Wow. Yeah, I have to do that. You get your point in I'm gonna have to give this person admin, because that will open up more options to me. I mean, yes, I do primarily get administration from organizations that grant administration. That's the whole game with the orgs, is you want to get orgs that give you admin, because generally speaking, they give you more admin than they cost, and that's how you can keep getting more orgs over time. The problem is that you only can have 15 total orgs. So the more base administration that you have on your counselor, the fewer of those admin boosting orgs you need. And of course, the whole point of me having this kingpin is that he has hostile takeover. What does hostile takeover do? Well, it takes your admin and money, and you can steal orgs from opponent counselors. And you can find out about opponent counselors by investigating them. You investigate them, see what organizations that they have on them, and then you can steal from them. So if, say, they have an organization on them that gives them a bunch of administration, investigate, detain, and steal. Although I think they changed a little bit about the detain and hostile takeover. At least that was mentioned in a patch note somewhere, but Alright, so I need to free up some points here. We are, what is that math? 15 over budget? That gives me 10. Great. I don't know if I have, like, a single country that's 15. I want to hold on to Singapore as long as I can, because this is the most that I'm getting out of spoils. It's 179 times 8. It's 179 times 8 per month. From having Singapore, I do not want to give up Singapore. But places like South Sudan can absolutely be abandoned. Absolutely be abandoned. Mozambique with its 2 points per month. Yeah, you're gonna get abandoned. What else do I have? I have 1 point in Zambia, Malawi. So we'll abandon that as well. That brings us down to 6. Still need to find 6. There is Portugal. That would free me up. Portugal is giving me 147 times 7. So that's pretty significant. If I can avoid that, I will. So I will get rid of Guatemala, and that puts me below my cap again. You want to try to stay below the cap, because being over the cap makes it easier for other factions to take your control points from you, for one, and for another, it reduces your influence income, and it scales exponentially. The more points over you are, the bigger the penalty on your influence. I do not want to lose my influence there. And if I keep doing unrest increases here in Belize, they're gonna coup in my favor all by themselves, and I'd have to abandon the place. But you know what? I've got nothing better to do with those two at the moment, until we see what stuff we get next month. Oh yes, I want this. National investment points into boost are increased by 10%. So, hello, Project the Next. We get to choose, actually, between the super heavy chemical rockets and reusable rockets. I mean, clearly a 200 cost for 10% is going to be a bit better than a 1,000 cost for 20. So, investment in boost is really nice. I am very happy to have that, but, ooh, these guys really want arrival economics. I'm going to have to devote way more research into that. Clandestine cells is almost done, so I need to keep in mind that they're going hard. 100% of their stuff, I think, is going into that tech, so I need to fight for it to keep it. Canada! Hello, welcome to the era of spaceflight. You are my mission control producing region, ideally. Although I will have to abandon Canada as I continue taking points in North America. I will have to abandon basically every
Long live
single
the
nation, and I
revolution.
think that I will still be over the cap even after abandoning Mexico and Canada and every other nation for the exception of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is the only one that I want to keep with the United States until I have the cap to support the other neighboring nations again. So
Revolution is
off we go. We have public
sentiment is
campaign
increasingly with
that
us.
is increased to 76% chance to take this next point. Hopefully the Academy has given up. It would appear so. Project has completed clandestine cells. We can now get another counselor. And we have increased our control point capacity by 10. This is big. This is really, really important. I have to sort by category. Give me... Work on the reusable rockets until something cheaper comes around. God, they've put 250 points to my 163. Yeah, they've devoted 100%. They've stopped on their engineering projects to get access to this point. I'm going to have to see what pops up next on these. Although my research income...
We still lack support.
Wow, I failed. Okay. That's interesting. So, I'm about to get this nation. If both of my guys succeed, that will mean that the government will get overthrown in Belize. So that's where I need to stop in Belize for now, because I don't really want to get rid of it. I just want this to be eating up the cap point for Project Exodus and not giving them much benefit. So yeah, I want it to just be there, but not get overthrown quite yet, until they abandon it, because they haven't abandoned it. That's the key difference here. If they were to abandon, that would be a thing. Boost is 0.34 because of you, I guess, because of Puerto Rico. Is that the most equatorial United States holding? It may just be. Yeah, I think that is the most equatorial region. It might be Hawaii. No, Hawaii is further north. So, yeah. Investments into Boost will actually set up in Puerto Rico. I'm pretty sure they're gonna... the game will create things there for me. Very, very interesting. You're gonna go to Honduras
The
next.
people demand justice.
Your orders?
I can't spend influence because I need to check the stuff here. I can only afford the spy at the moment, but I don't need another spy. There is a scientist. They are a computer scientist, so they give you 15% information science research. There is an astronaut that is transparent, but nothing else about him looks decent. We've got an investigator, tech mogul, that is also a computer scientist, a famous computer scientist. Nah. I'm tempted by astronauts because they come with the ability to assault enemy space assets and control space assets. That's the big thing here. I want to be able to control space assets, so that would be nice. This guy has hostile takeover and is a quick learner. And has decent science. This tech mogul has 6 science. Gives influence income. Has a monthly income on ops built in. I want this guy. So I'm going to need to save up my 60 points and hopefully he doesn't go away. Yeah, hopefully he won't go away. There is this extremist evangelist. No thanks. No thanks. I will try to get this tech mogul, I think. As much as I would like the a computer scientist, I'm gonna take the tech mogul. He has control space assets, so I will enjoy this very much. Specifically, having the extra hostile takeover, though he's not a criminal, which, that's fine. The focus on this guy is going to be admin science, primarily, which is really great for hostile takeover, because hostile takeover is based off of admin. But yeah, definitely need a scientist. So, because of that, I won't be able to spend points this turn, so I'm going to public campaign.
Persuade the people.
At your service.
Oh, you don't actually have that great of a odds there. You don't have great odds in general. Like, in general. So I guess what I'll do with you is I will surveil the
Eyes
United
up.
States. And
Standing by for orders.
you are going to public campaign here.
We must persuade the people.
Alright, you, I'm sorry, I need to change the way that you look, because alright, you can be any other person. Be this guy, sure. I don't know, there's just certain faces I just don't like.
Initiating recon.
The less we burn, the longer we will survive.
Okay, what did they pick
And the
next?
less
They
we
picked
depend
mass
upon
drivers
burning our
next,
Of course, there was an accident.
and
Frankly,
outpost
I'm
tabs.
surprised it took this long. Just get the recovery crew in there to salvage the...
Oh, no, pause. Please, stop. I want both of these. We're gonna see how much of a focus Humanity First has put onto here. That looks like they put in 5 that day. Okay. So I'm gonna have to do more than that per day. I think that's gonna have to be it, and I should be able to steal mass drivers, especially once I do get more points in the US. Oh, that's terrible. We can take more boost national investment points. Ah, glorious. I need the
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
the one for the space probes though, that halves the time
The needle.
or whatever it is.
The revolution is coming.
All right, 52% is better. Oh my god, it's 1 o'clock. We've been playing this for 3 hours already? Oh boy. Do I just one more turn it? I think I just one more turn it. I wanna at least look at the orgs here and the chances. And recruit the dude if he's still there. Yes, he's still there. Do we get any other options? This is a different tech mogul with way less that they can do. Yeah, I think I know which one I want. I want this guy. Yeah, I want this guy. This is my science guy. Thank you. Thank you. You get renamed. You are science. So most notably, oh hey, there's another engineering project income. Huh? Oh, I don't have 38. It's like, oh, I don't have 38 influence. This would be really nice to have. Plus 30 base income is nice to have. And the plus 10 influence. I'll start with that on you just to have it, but... And then if you have a point here, I'll give that. So each of these cogs, each one of these cog icons is engineering project bonuses. I really wish they didn't do this stupid plus icon on these, because you can only fit 3 of them on here, and more often than not I have more than 3. But each of these is 5% bonus. It's a 5% bonus to your engineering project research. It's like getting 5% more research points applied to your research for your engineering projects for each one of these cogs. And it only starts scaling down at 100% bonus. It goes from 5% each to 3% each beyond that first 100%. So yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing that exists, and that's why I want to get these cogs. But grand scheme, I want to use these org points, these org slots for other stuff. No one can level. You can level. You can level your command. I keep forgetting. I've got like 3 quick learners. I'm pretty sure I have 3 quick learners. Yeah, I have 3 that are quick learners. All 3 of these. My spy, my rebel, and my tech mogul. So the problem is that I don't have anyone with inspire. I don't have an inspire person, which sucks. I need to find an org that gives inspire. At least 2 orgs that give inspire. That's a key mission type that I don't have, that I want, because that will increase the loyalty of all my dudes, and it will remove them from being traitors if I find out that any of them are traitors. Inspire cures that. Any comments on the patches released? Do later phases feel buggy or smooth sailing? Well, I haven't played to the later phases of the game. That's part of it. So, like, they recently gave a patch that changed some of the ways of things getting powered, that changed ship stuff. I haven't built a ship yet in the game. Despite playing it for over 70 hours, I haven't gotten to the point in the game where I have even built a ship in space. I haven't done that yet. So, yeah, it's, so I can't comment about changes that are affecting the later phases of the game. They are seemingly updating the game very consistently, which is very nice. Which is very nice to see some balance updates, bug fixes, all of that getting applied. One thing that is necessary, though, is some performance increases, because I haven't shown this yet. When you go to the tech tree, how are they still leading? When you go to the tech tree, this is the tech tree of all of the global techs. So this is all of the global techs on the tech tree. Look at it, it's beautiful. It's absolutely glorious, this wonderful web of the tech tree. Not quite as impressive as the Pyanodon's mod's tech tree in Factorio for that mod, but hey. There's this button here saying view full tech tree. The full tech tree shows all of the engineering projects. This makes the game run much more slowly. This tech tree, the game is now running sub 60 when I move this tech tree, but I'm still scrolling. I am still scrolling. Yeah, so this is the full tech tree. This tech tree shows all of the engineering projects that are available. Yeah, this is far more impressive of a tech tree. This is far more impressive, with lots and lots and lots of lines being rendered with apparently zero object culling applied to the window of this tech tree, meaning that the whole thing is rendered always, and thus the performance of the game is dramatically reduced. Yeah, they need to work on this tech tree, because as impressive as the full tech tree is, the game is like going down sub 40 frames when you're in here, and good luck like trying to actually make out the red and green lines. Like you can make out the highlights on these lines, but with the amount of gray background, sometimes it's a little hard. It's sometimes a little hard. Now, granted, if you double-click or right-click, if you right-click on a technology, it will bring up another window showing the entire line all by itself. So you can just eliminate the rest of the tech tree if you're looking at something specific, where something leads to, what it unlocks, etc. What is the prerequisites? Or what are the prerequisites for them? So, say we want to know about infrared combat lasers. If I right-click on infrared combat lasers, we get all of the prerequisites shown and what it leads to. And this performs fine. The game performs at full 60 frames, and when we close this window, it opens up the full tech tree again, and then we can close that, and that opens up just the global. This should be renamed to the global tech tree, I think, because this shows only the global stuff, and then the full tech tree shows the engineering projects. And then, of course, there's information that I wish was shown in here. Like, this tech tree doesn't show any numbers whatsoever, so even on the engineering projects, it doesn't tell you what they, like, really do a lot of the times, and it doesn't show, like, if you unlock a building that you can build, like if you unlock a component for your HABs, it doesn't show you or give you the ability to find out the information about that component until you actually have it unlocked. So it can be a little frustrating trying to figure out what path you should take, because you need to just know what stuff gets unlocked when. It's a little... It needs work, is what I'm trying to say. It needs work, but yeah, you know, this game has been consuming my life for the past week, and it will continue to do so. Now, I would have liked to have full control of the US by now, but we only have 1 point. So when we next meet, we're gonna be taking the full control over the United States. That's gonna be what we end up doing. At least we better. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be much better overall. I think we need to control the U.S. and we need to get all the science from the U.S. To take control of these global techs, so I can steer things the way that I want them to be steered. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching today's stream. This has been Otaku Show, and if you have enjoyed today's stream, today's video, please be sure, with it being the start of a series, to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushow. But if you are so inclined and able, I will be back with more of this on Thursday. As much as I'd like to keep going like every single day, gotta keep the stream schedule going. I hope to see you all then.